I think for me, the Mastermind came together so well because it was a group of 5 of us, all from the same industry, and each of us bringing our own perspective, our own expertise, our own experience. And the power of all that coming together is so much more than just the sum of its parts. And I think we all gained from sort of getting the perspective of other people in the group, as well as obviously Carolina, who was there to guide us and, you know, sort of make sure we were held accountable. And obviously accountability is another huge part of it. I think it's easy to get distracted when you're on your own. You know what you want to achieve, but you don't quite know what the next steps are to get there. And I think Carolina's skill was in identifying those practical next steps that each of us needed to take, and it was different for each of us. But by listening and engaging and sort of intuiting, she was able to send us each away with very concrete homework, next steps, action steps that we then all felt we very much felt held accountable, that we had to come back with some results to share with the others. It was almost like you sort of felt a responsibility to the group to take that action, and it just felt like you were being held, and it was exciting to be part of it, rather than just on your own and you do things but no one really knows and you don't know if you've done the right things. And so it just felt like taking action in a very held and concrete way. I think when you're working in business on your own, it's very easy just to feel overwhelmed by just the sheer quantity of things to do, and you just don't know where to start, and you're pulled in a million different directions. But when you come each week to this accountability group, it kind of focuses you and it helps you clarify where you are, what you've achieved, what still needs to be achieved, and where the bottlenecks are and how you're going to kind of get through those, but in a way that isn't just airy-fairy. It's very, very specific, and you really feel empowered by it. You feel like, I know what I'm going to do now. I've just got to make it happen. And it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. You've got to be prepared to go away and do that work. But we all were, and we all, I think, achieved excellent results in a very short space of time. I think the biggest takeaway for me was, I think when lockdown started, we all felt very, frustrated. We didn't quite know we were all used to going out and networking and meeting people face to face. And Carolina's Mastermind enabled us to carry on networking online and to take our businesses and our brands online in a way that we hadn't before. So it just felt like we explored different parts of our businesses and grew our brands in a way that actually I don't think we would have done if lockdown hadn't happened. So when I started the Mastermind, my website was on Squarespace, and I'd been struggling with it. It kind of was there, but I couldn't quite make it do what I wanted it to do. So Carolina encouraged me, all of us really, to experiment with Wix, and I was very resistant to begin with, but I watched her tutorials, did my homework and learnt all the tips and techniques that she'd given us. And I discovered that Wix had so much more functionality and offered me a lot more kind of design freedom, and so I got stuck in and I completely redesigned my website on Wix. I then helped somebody else in the Mastermind do their website because I was just enjoying it so much. And yeah, it's fantastic for all the sort of add-ons it can give you, which build your business. And I think I wouldn't have discovered those things without the Mastermind and Carolina sort of holding our hands in areas that would normally feel a little bit sort of out of your comfort zone. So it was a great experience. I think the Mastermind kind of evolved as a journey, and it began with all of us really kind of trying to identify who our ideal client might be. We created an avatar for that person. We kind of wrote copy as if we were talking to that person, as if this was just a natural and easy progression. And it really took us away from feeling like, how do we get clients and how can we appeal to them? It was sort of going back to basics and working out, what do we specifically bring to our business? Like, what's our superpower? And we've all got something that is truly unique to us. And I think by being part of that group, we all helped each other by listening to each other's stories. And sometimes even when we got confused, just hearing what we each had to say helped everyone else go, you know what, that's your thing. That's what you're really good at. And sometimes we can't see it in ourselves. And that's the power of the group. I think everyone wants to help each other. And so, it went from that avatar to writing copy for a website and really kind of fleshing out that ideal client into then your offer. And your offer aligns with your ideal client. And it suddenly all felt very easy. Like, I think to begin with, it can feel like this sort of uphill struggle. How am I going to attract clients and who are they? It's like, no, go back to basics. Work out your brand values and your ideal client, and it kind of builds from there. I think my own experience has been a very interesting one, because I'm obviously sort of in my 50s. I've gone through lots of reincarnations and I've constantly been reinventing myself. So sort of I came out of motherhood and I reinvented myself in property, and I did buy-to-let. Then I moved into development, and that was another reinvention. And I think having come to the Mastermind, it's helped me refine that a bit more, a lot more actually, and think that maybe in future I'm going to move away from developments and more into helping people who are on a similar path to me, who maybe are trying to make a transition from parenting or out of a corporate career, or maybe they've been in a fallow period of their lives and they're not quite sure how to sort of make the next move. And I think there's a real gap in the market for somebody to kind of guide and nurture and help those people take their next steps in business. I think I came out of the Mastermind with a real sense of clarity about what my next steps are. I think it gave me the ability to look back with a real perspective on the different reincarnations I've had, motherhood, getting into buy-to-lets, moving on to developments, and now feeling like my next step is helping people make those transitions themselves. And I'm realizing that there's actually a very structured pathway to achieving those results. And it's only by looking back that you see where the path you've come along, but you can break it down into manageable steps. And I think that's what a mastermind gives you, is a structure within which to reinvent yourself in the business of your dreams.